Microcorp's Facebook page. And this webinar is also recorded, and participant can request for the recording after the sessions. Right. All right, let's start today's webinar. Okay, again, I welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday in Malaysia, and again, we, Microcorp, welcome all of you to the last series in our DI in BIM webinars. And today we are bringing you with Catch Them If You Can. Right. With me are four awesome panelists, awesome panelists. And I'm very excited to hear from them today. But before we go there, let me do some introduction. The first one will be Dr. Wallace Enigbouma, a senior lecturer from Victoria University of Wellington. Welcome, Dr. Wallace.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul.
Yeah. The next one is Dr. Yasser Al-Mutiri, Head of Digital Management Department, Saudi Bin Laden Group. Welcome, Dr. Yasser.
Thank you very much.
Next in line is Madam Zaidatul Ahmad Zubail, General Manager from KLCC Project Services, Sdn Bhd. Welcome, Madam Zaidatul. The last one will be Madam Annalisa De Masri, Chief Executive, VP BIM. Welcome, Madam Annalisa.
Thank you, and good morning or good night to everybody, wherever you are.
Yeah. This is our panelists is from all over the world, so time is relative. But I'm sure everyone is waiting for a new perspective or a new experience from the sharing from these very experienced lines of panelists. So shown on your screen now is our tentative, right? My name is Paul Unting. I'm your host tonight in state of Microcorp's Managing Director, Mr. Ahmad Sharainon. So he couldn't be present with us here because of being outside the city currently, but he extends his regards to everyone. And each panel will have a 15-minute session to share on their presentation. And after 4 sessions of 15 minutes, then we will have a panel discussion sessions, the way forward in implementing BIM for facility management. That's the topic for today. And we will address questions from the participants or from the audience, right, during these panel discussion sessions. So without further ado, our first panel for tonight is Madam Annalisa. I would like to invite Madam Annalisa to present.
I will share my presentation to present myself.
Yes, please.
Okay, I hope you can see me correctly. So I will share that. And you can see my presentation, it's okay?
Yes, great.
Okay, perfect. So I will just present very quickly myself and my career to explain why I'm here. I started my career in design industry for the production. And after that, I started very quickly in construction site with the work we call in Europe execution coordination study. So I was a director of a team of 30 people. And after that, I create different companies. Now I think it's my third company, working on coordination study. That was the first step. And after that on BIM. Start with a project very famous in France. And it's a project called Fondation Louis Vuitton of Frank Gehry. A project you can build just in BIM. There was not other option. And that's what was my starting point. I'm also a professor, a teacher for different institutions, private and public institutions. And I spend a lot of my time to be a speaker in conferences and to share the information, share experience about BIM and about digital in build construction and for the infrastructure too. So just to explain who we are and my company, it's called VP BIM. It's a company, it's a part of a group. It's a group of architect engineer. So we are different companies in this group. And we work, all the companies work on BIM. We work on execution study, we work on conception design until to give our project to our clients. So that's the group. We are 6 companies. So architect, engineer, and design, structural engineer, facades, and MEP engineer. And of course, BP BIM for all the BIM subject and digital subject. One thing is important to understand what I will present to you today. It's our vision. In our point of view, all the modification on our way to work, management, digital information, BM, FM, starting from something it's really new, but now it's obligation for everybody. And that is the digital world. We cannot choose to start to be in digital world. So BIM, virtual reality, IoT, artificial intelligence are a fact today. It's not a choice. So if that's a fact, we can change our way to create, design, architecture, engineer in this new world. And that's what we call augmented architecture. That means the way we work, it's augmented by something new, the new technology, the new way to work. So if we have to talk about the kind of project where we apply this vision, is a lot of different projects, because this new way to think about architecture, engineer, infrastructure, it's not applied just to buildings, but can be applied to infrastructure until the city. That's why, because we work in Europe, North Africa, Dubai, Russia, and China, so we have a different scale of project. So BIM can be applied to all of this scale, but in a different way. And before to start to apply that, and that will be the subject of my discussion with you today, I want to make a step back and show you something. Everybody, I think, will be agree, when you want to build a house, maybe we will use the method on the left side of the screen and not the right side. I think everybody's agree. We start from the foundation to the top. So if this process is the right one on the left, that means everybody think on the right direction to build buildings. But now, when we talk about information, when we talk about new technology, and when we talk about facility management, a lot of our clients would like we start to the end to build all the process. So I want to share with you some experience, some reflection about the right way to build all the information until you can use that for facility management. So if you agree with me on the left side is the right one, we have to think about the strange way we do now the building information on the new technology, on where we apply the new technology in our work. For example, we start to using the oldest method to create something new. That's first point, it's wrong. we cannot create new information, new way to work using our oldest way to work. How we can use our old telephone today with new technology is not possible. So we have to change mind. We have to change first step. We have to change the management way, the management of information, the management way to think about our work. So we need new practice, and in this new practice, we have to put in the middle the information about our building, the information about our infrastructure, starting from the creation until the end, and the cycle go back and restart. That's the new way to think about management and management information. So how that can work? With some friends, we started thinking about what does that mean to create a new way to manage the information, to manage our work. So the first image we have was the image of an orchestra. Why that? Because when you think about an orchestra can be just wonderful, or can be really the worst thing you can hear in your life. That depends in the way all the people play together. In an orchestra, every instrument is great, can make its own music. But when all the instruments work together on the same time, with the same tempo, in this way, you can something beautiful and perfect. And for us, for me and my friend, when you think about that, that's exactly the definition on our new way to work in BIM, a new way to work with the information of the buildings. What that's mean? That means for us to think now to each other on all the moments. You cannot work, you cannot play your partition without hearing what's happening around to you. That's the new way to work with digital, with information. We are not in our site alone, create our own drawing. We are in a process where all the information are created all the time and evolve all the time. So if you want to create some value with that, you are obliged now to start with a new way to transform your project-oriented management to a product-oriented management. That means connect the way we build the buildings to the way who we built, for example, the cars. So our building now is like an object we can standardize and create step by step. To do that and to have some value from that, the concept must be changed. So we must study where we have to build the way. So we have to connect our project with the local reality, create a platform in this local reality to share all the information, and last step, create some interaction with our project, all the participants, all the information, to create some value to all this step by step. That's the way we work when we are in an industrial site. It's exactly the same process, but that's the difference. In the building site, we have to remind we work with our hands. So that's the big difference between how we create a car and how we create a building. The human, it's between the two things. So when you understand you need this new approach for your management, for your data management, now how we can do that? That management change must be quickly, but really step by step. Quickly means you have no choice. We need to change our way to work, our way to approach all the information, all the project. Step by step means we have to understand what kind of technology we need, how we can approach this technology, which kind of information we need, and in which moments we need this information. Why that? Because our projects are more complex and complex. Our client asks us to have some lead new information, new technology inside, new materials, new uses. So if our projects are more and more complex, of course, we are obliged to change our way to approach our mentality, our information, our culture to the new way of work. And that can open us some new points. For example, we can understand in this way how we can create new value, new product, new information for our client. And I would like just to give you an example of one of our projects in Paris, is Gare du Nord. For this project, we start for the starting point on BIM. The client was with us, so the client is infrastructure, French infrastructure. And at the start, they imagined that to use BIM to create a complex building, because Gare du Nord, it's a really huge building, existing one, and it needs to be to grow up. And the particularity of Gare du Nord is in the center of Paris. So you can imagine when you have to create a new station inside the center of Old Town. What's that mean? How many information you need? But that was the starting point. We can use the BIM because the project is a complex one. But step by step, using the BIM, all the people understand maybe with this information, we can create some new product. So today, after 3 years of the starting point, we are thinking about next 10 years, 20 years. And now we are in the point where we create new opportunities to work, new opportunities to move inside the station, to approach the station, the mobility, the train, the information about the train. And it's possible because we create a global process where everybody was connected to the right information to the right moment. So to explain you where we go and where we have to go, I would like just to show you something that's a rules, the old one and the new one, how we can move to the past from the present or from the future. First thing you know, we have no choice. We are inside this process. But the choice we have is to be a victim or to manage this project. So we can manage this project with our clients if we can explain them a technology process, a BIM process, a process to create a lot of information can help you if you know which problem you have at which moment and which information can resolve your problem. So if you imagine a BIM process like a large scale of information and people working around the same point, you can have a value because for all of the steps of this project process, all the people are connected to give the right information and to take the right information. So it's give to give, and it's win-win process. Who need a lot of teaching, a lot of training, and a lot of patience. It's not something we can understand just because we work in a 3D world. BIM needs to be understood. All the people need to modify their work and connect that with the new reality in the 3D, with acknowledged data, with information data, and create the really process where everybody has his own place. And that's all I want to share with you. And I hope to have some questions and share more after my colleagues speak.
Yeah, that was very interesting. what attracted me the most is about the interactivities of everyone inside the orchestra. So from another point of view, if I may, Madam, does this actually induce ownership, means responsibility from each of the group? Do you think your process helps them to build up that sense of responsibility to fulfill their part as a team?
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with changement is the human, not the machine.
Yes, yes.
To be responsible of a new world. We can create what we want, so we have to be responsible of that. Exactly.
That's a very good insight about the new mindset that your company has adopted to, implemented worldwide. And I can't imagine the challenges that you've been through doing that. Right?
We love that. We love challenges. It's not easy all the time.
Yes, yes. Okay, so now, thank you very much, Madam Annabelle. It's very nice sharing. Any questions? We will take them at the end of the session. So next is Dr. Yasir Al-Mutiri. So Dr. Yasir, I would like to invite you for your sharing.
Okay, let me first share the screen.
Yes.
Is the screen on now?
Yes, it is.
Now?
Nice.
Okay. First, thank you for inviting me to be one of the speakers to the Catch Me If You Can. If that's the movie, if you got that from the movie. Let me first start with introducing myself. I'm Dr. Yasir Al-Mutiri. I'm actually from Saudi Arabia. By background, I'm an architect. I finished my master in digital architecture. I did my PhD in implementing BIM within education in Saudi Arabia. I was before working with this PG, I was actually teaching in one of the government universities in Saudi Arabia for around 7 years. And now I'm actually working with this PG on the Two Holy Mosques. Today I'm going actually to give, let's say, part of my journey in implementing BIM in Saudi Arabia, okay, and some of my understanding and advising on how to implement BIM, okay, in my opinion, okay. First, I would like to start with the issues facing building industry. Normally, this is actually, we have typical issues around the world, okay? Issues facing the building industry. For example, we have cost overruns, disputes, risk, change orders, rework, error emissions, handover, and so on. All these, it's like a brief of issues. And these issues normally is caused by something, by I don't know. Somebody actually tried to draw something in the screen. I don't know. It's, the cause of these sometimes comes because of the lack of coordination, lack of communications, and the issue in terms of the monitoring the projects. This is you know, these kind of like the cause of these issues. For example, let's say what kind of lack of coordination. I'm giving an example. If you see these two pictures, okay, just how I'm going to, you know, these drawings. I don't know how what's happening here. Can you see that one?
Yes, yes. My action team is looking into it. We'll try to move that.
Okay, I don't know. I think it will not affect the presentation at the moment. if you see these two pictures, okay, what actually happened after they done after they casted the project there, okay, they noticed that because of the lack of the coordination, okay, they have to open this area. What happened? They stopped the work. This is the first thing, okay, and they hire a subcontractor to do these whole things, okay, and that will actually lead to cause quality issues to the building. This is just only a small example. If you talk about like something else, like for example the rework, but actually some of these issues were mentioned before. 30%, which we mentioned, actually 30% of the construction is a rework. Okay, I'm giving just only an example how it's become like a rework, where actually the issues when it's become to the rework. You know, the 4 stages: design, development, construction documents, construction, and operation. What's happened here? The yellow area here is actually the preparation area, where the second stage, they will take the document from the previous stage, okay, and they start to do the preparation before they start to do their job. And this is a growing data. The data from the design development to construction document is not a huge like when it's becomes from the construction to operation. Okay, it's really huge data. This is the area where actually it's happened. It was actually a reworked area. To keep in your mind, normally after construction document and the construction, there is a bidding area. This is where actually the constructor, who actually sometime they put money, extra money, okay, they ask for an extra money, okay, for that task. And this one, why it's actually 30% of the work is or the construction process is the rework.
Yeah.
What actually happening? It's that actually it will lead to delay and bad quality with high cost, which is impacting the cost and time and the quality. And we could add the fourth part, which is the safety. Now, BIM becoming people now they say that BIM is a solution, and some of them they say BIM is solution. For this case, first, what is BIM? Building information modeling, it has been defined in different way. People they say it's technology, and some of them they say it's professional, and the majority of them they say it's both of them.
Hold on, there's some sound.
But
okay.
in the end, BIM is actually not just a 3D CAD. We have to agree that on that one, okay? And even BIM is not just a new technology, or not even next generation. BIM is actually here and now, okay? And BIM is a better information management. Okay, we have to think about that one, okay? To better define building information modeling, we have 3 different terms to that one. Okay, I'm talking about BIM information model, and BIM information modeling, and BIM information management. I'm just giving, I'm going to give like a brief what's the difference between them, okay? BIM information model, it's what actually we're gonna do. Okay, is it a structure model? Is it an architecture model? Okay. And modeling, it's about how we're gonna do that one, okay? And if we talk about the management, okay, and now we are talking about the process, okay? Who's gonna do that one, and when we're gonna actually receive it, and the way of doing that as a process. We're gonna go even to speak about the definition of BIM on ISO 19650, which been actually released 2 years ago. Okay, they say that the use of shared digital representation of built asset to facilitate design, construction, operation processes to form reliable basis of decisions. This is the definition were actually mentioned in two different ISO paper. The one and the first one, it was in 29481. Okay, and that one it was actually in 216, and the ISO, the BIM ISO, which is the 19650. Now we're gonna speak about the benefit of BIM. After we see that there is a yes, BIM. It's we have actually different definition for that one. Okay, but in the end, BIM is better information management. Now the benefits. We have a lot of resources present the benefit of BIM. You can Google it. You can type on Google and see BIM, and you just write down BIM benefits, and you're gonna have a lot of pictures similar to that one presenting the benefit of BIM. Okay, I'm going to summarize that. Okay, for the 5 points, with reducing cost, reducing carbon dioxide, improving facility management, and improve quality, saving time. The first 2 points, reducing cost and reducing carbon dioxide, that one was on when I was in UK, when they actually announced to BIM as become like a mandatory for all their projects. They said the only 2 points they say it. Okay, BIM, we're gonna reduce a cost because of them implementing BIM, and we're gonna reduce the carbon dioxide. What about the technology? One of the benefits of BIM, okay, on the technology, actually, if we see that, this is from Revit, okay, where actually the parameter link with the schedule, where you can actually select the wall and see that on the schedule. And when you change that, the wall, okay, and you change the location, you change the sizes, you do anything you want, okay, it will reflect on the schedule direct. We don't need to add anything based on that. In the end, a change in a new view will apply to all other views, which was actually we're gonna save a time on that one. Globally, on that, because of these, the massive benefits of BIM start growing around the world. Some countries make BIM as a mandatory. Okay, and some countries, they are still behind that stage, but they ask for BIM. And this is a map of what's actually happening on implementing BIM around the world. On this case, I'm going to speak in the following slides. I'm going to speak about the current situation of BIM in Saudi Arabia. I have done my PhD. It was actually, when I finished that, it was in 2016. But in 2014, I sent a questionnaire in Saudi Arabia, asked them about the aim of that questionnaire is to see the awarenesses of BIM and the implementation of BIM in Saudi Arabia. What actually I noticed, I asked them a direct question if they heard about BIM or not. In general, 60% of them, of the academics and the professionals, they have heard about BIM. And even when I asked them about the implementation of BIM, I gave them 5 choices. Okay, to choose from the. If they have actually, if they actually haven't implemented, and they are not considering that, okay, and even if they haven't implemented but they are considering that, if partly implemented or fully implemented, and if they don't know at all. But what actually I found that there is a percentage would say that 20% of them, the professional academics, they said we already implemented. Actually, they are considering that, and the around you know, 45% to 32%, okay, of them they are actually partly or fully implementing the BIM. However, I take that in the second stage. I ask them in which area, the people who actually say that we already implement BIM. I ask them in which area you have implemented BIM. What actually I found that most of the areas in early stage of the project where the design and the architectural drawings. And I ask them further, okay, if they actually agree on that, if this is what actually BIM is what actually they are doing now, is BIM or not. And what actually I found that the majority of them believe BIM is for architectural, conceptual design, and that's that area. From that one, in 2014, I noticed there is a misunderstanding of BIM on that time. However, it's increasing, and I already done another research. I finished I collected the survey last 2 weeks. Okay, and the result was actually something really, it's really good. It's better than this one. Okay, but inshallah, I'm going to publish it soon. Okay, BIM is growing. BIM is growing in Saudi Arabia. Okay, to show that, it's actually, I'm going to start with the Vision 2030 projects. We have two big projects in Saudi Arabia. The Red Sea project, which you can see the size of that project, okay, and the Qiddiya project, okay, which is located in Riyadh. Both now they are required BIM. If you want to have project there, okay, BIM is a mandatory task to do there. I'm going to present some of the work on the Two Holy Mosques. It's just not something to present the idea of the Two Holy Mosques. With this one, it's implementing BIM in the Two Holy Mosque. This is a minaret on the mosque. Okay, we SPG as a subcontractor, as a contractor, they got the design, a 2D design, okay, and from that one, they started to build it, build the structure and the architecture, and they built the MEP. Okay, on this case, everything is good. After that, we have the clash report. We do the issues with that one, okay, and then we have this document shows the RFIs, the issues happen and sent to design, okay, to solve these issues. This is the process. After this, okay, the 2D drawings extracted from that one. One of the projects, it was this is one of the columns on Holy Mosque. Okay, shows I'm showing the use of these, or how useful these tools for construction. Now we have a full detail model where actually we can have a section anywhere with a 3D model, a coordinated one. After that, we move to the LOD 500, where actually they have the model with the same column, the one you say we saw on the previous slide, and this column, okay, on the property and Revit, okay, we link that with the work inspection request. We put that paper, okay, we hold as a document. This is what I'm saying, BIM, it's a better information management. Finally, on the last 3 slides, I'm going to speak about, we need to understand what actually we need to understand BIM, okay, that will help us to implement it properly and get the benefit from that one. There are actually three key factors, okay, we need to understand them. First one, the preferred design process. I'm sorry, the title is not that title, okay, this is a different one. We need to know the preferred design process, okay, and the data flow, the concept of the data flow, and the single database. With the preferred design process, For the plan, design, construction, operation, the 4 stages, we know the ability of change is comes from left to right. Okay, that because of we cannot change if we go in the construction area. On that time, any change will cost money, and this is what's actually happening in the traditional way. On the design or on the concept of BIM, we move that mountain, that one to the design stage. Okay, to spend a lot of time. Okay, to design there. I have a phrase to say. Sometimes I use that one. I told them if you cannot build it in Revit, you cannot build it on the location. Okay, this is something I'm saying. If you cannot, because we have people who say this is a problem. Okay, we cannot do it in Revit. Okay, I told them if you cannot do it in Revit, okay, that means you cannot do it in the site. Okay, the data flow on the same graph, the planning, design, construction, operation. The data is actually growing from that stage, starting on the planning. You in the stage of the conceptual design, you have just only a sketch, and then the design you have the dimensions and name of rooms and the type of furnitures. Construction, you're gonna add the installation date, the information of the work inspections. Another thing, operation, you have the lifetime of the items. It's data. You have to understand it. If you cannot understand, you cannot control it. The single database, to understand that one, I'm going to compare it with the traditional. The traditional, you're gonna what's actually happening, you send the data from the architecture team to the structure team to MEB, and then they receive it back again. They do 2D coordination. Send it through bidding or whatever the process, okay, to construction. And the construction team, they have to contact them back again, okay, to do the rework, the one we mentioned that before. And to the facility management, what actually they're gonna even contact them again, okay, to upload the data. Now we have at least 3 central data, or three different central data. With the concept of BIM, no, we have a central database. Okay, all they link that one, okay, and even will present this is a conceptual of BIM roadmap, technology roadmap. I developed that one. It's just only a conceptual. If we have a central, which is the last slide, if we have a central model, architectural model, okay, we share it with the structural, with MEB, with the lightings, with other disciplines, and even we could share it with the sustainability 60, where actually they can start from schematic design to do the conceptual design, the analysis, and even the develop. And then, okay, if it's approved, the second stage, the design development, where actually they're going to do the same things, okay, with the thermal and the lighting. After that, after doing that, we have the stage of the 3D coordination, where actually they're gonna figure out the clashes and send the report to the team to study it. Using Everswork, using BIM Collab. A lot of softwares can help with this technology or with these clashes. Just imagine if we actually, because we have this kind of like yes, with the architecture, the block work. Okay, when you build the wall, they said we could actually demolish some of the part of that wall, okay, and you know, do the ducts and the pipes. We don't. It's a site issue. This is a waste material. For them, it's a waste material, okay, and we can actually reduce that waste material, okay, from the design stage. After we have a zero clash model with no clashes, we could actually extract the model, extract the 2D drawings, shop drawings, and the schedule, and then send it to the 4D plan, where actually we start to simulate it for the construction. And in 2009, when the UK announced in 2016, all the public projects will be mandatory. BIM will be mandatory for all the public projects. What actually happened in 2013 and 14, the government stated that we already saved more than 800 million pound based on just only a stage before they reach the 2016. During the construction, we have a technology called 3D scan. I think most of you are familiar with the 3D scan and the use of that one. We use that one in SPG, and it's really useful. For example, we had this situation. It's really a good situation. This is a cable tray. The design, it's in blue color, where actually the cable tray, it's moved up for like a 1 meter and goes back again. But with the red rand, what actually happened, and the subcontractor, actually he installed it like one line. He haven't give, actually in this area, I'm talking about this area. I don't know if you can see the mouse or not. Okay, what actually happened, just only one line only. This one, yes, but actually, when we done the laser scan and we put it on the model, this is what actually showing here. We did that because of the pipes. Okay, and now we ask the subcontractor to fix that again. Now, what's actually happening? The cable tray underneath the pipes. Okay, this is just only a picture how it's actually complicated, the systems and everything. And that's what I'm saying. If you cannot do it in Revit, okay, you cannot do it in, let's say you cannot, if you cannot do it in BIM, okay, you cannot do it in real life. This is the final slide for me, and I really appreciate your. I hope I got my time or less than my time. Okay, and thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, Dr. Yasser. That was. I like to agree with you. If you cannot do it in BIM, you cannot do it physically. Now that is the mindset that we need to go forward with. If not, the people will not value BIM like what it has, right? What it should be. That is a very good point.
Yeah. That's...
All right. Now we are halfway through, and thank you, Dr. Yasser, for your sharing. And now I would like to welcome Madam Zadatul from KLCC Project Services Sdn Bhd. Madam Zadatul, if you're ready for your sharing.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Hi, everybody. Assalamualaikum and good day wherever you are. I know this webinar is all over the world. Okay, my name is Zadatul Ahmad Subil from KLCC Project Services Sdn Bhd. I believe it's, some of you outside Malaysia or even in Malaysia are not familiar what is KLCC project is all about. KLCC project is actually providing services, consultancy services for project management. We manage a project from inception, procurement, implementation, construction, and project closure. And also we manage the performance of the consultant and contractor on behalf of client. Our renowned project is actually KLCC Tower and all the development in KLCC Precinct, as well as the Putrajaya Capital Government Administrative City. We manage for the government building, the residential, the infras, and all the commercial building. As for my background, I am a civil engineer. I don't have any PhD like Dr. Dr. Yasir or Madam Annalisa. Okay, today I requested by the organizer to present to everybody the BIM implementation in PASF BIM journey. As what Madam Annalisa said, that she is the architect, and Dr. Yasir talk about the benefit of BIM. As well as myself, I am implementing BIM in my project. When I was assigned to this project back in 2013, I have to admit that at that point of time, I don't have any knowledge about BIM. Aware about my weaknesses, me and my team, we search around, go for all the trainings, for all the workshops available, just to know what is BIM all about. I think at that point of time in 2013 in Malaysia, a lot of people are not aware of BIM or don't even have any knowledge about BIM. So thank you very much for the organizer of those training or those workshop. From that workshop training, I get a lot of information about BIM. I gain all the knowledge, and I know what is BIM is all about and the benefit that I will get if I implement in my project, and good for the client. Okay, go back to the PASF. If you can see on your left side of the screen is BIM impression. That is actually a BIM model that we have do it. And on the right side is the actual building of PASF. Okay, a bit information about PASF. PASF is actually a government building, a development of that government building in Putrajaya. The site area is about 33.4 acres. The gross build-up area is 4.8 million square feet. Gross floor area is 2.4 million square feet. And it is a government building, 10 blocks, consists of 9 office tower and 1 shared facility. And the building height is a podium, the parking podium, 2 to 3 stories. Shared facility building 4 story, and the 9 office towers ranging from 4 to 13 story. BIM implementation for that project is from 3D, LOD 300 for design and coordination, and up to 7D, up to FM. And when I was assigned to implement BIM in this project, it was very such a big challenges to me, because I never gone through the experience. I have to make it happen. So I think the I in the title of this webinar, I for me is innovative. I have to have an innovative idea, innovative methodology, how to make it happen, how to produce the result. And of course, like Dr. Yasir said that I is information. I believe that information can make people become very powerful. Information is power. Okay, type of contract for this project with the government is actually PFI, Private Finance Initiative, for 28.5 years, 3.5 years construction and 25 years for operation and maintenance. Okay, how did we implement BIM in PASF? Is quite scary words of BIM to me earlier in 2013, but after attending all the trainings, all the workshop, I get understand what BIM is all about. So we are so lucky, me and my team, at that point of time, I have to mention their name, Pondasila and Hussein. We so lucky we met into one of the officer in CIDB, and he trained us, told us, educate us, guide us, and advise us about BIM. So with that understanding, in order to make it successful in PASF, I have already crafted the 5 objectives of BIM in PASF. First, because I believe if I manage to achieve all these 5 objective, I managed to produce, to give the result of BIM implementation successfully in PASF. First is project visualization prior actual construction. I have to make sure people can visualize in 3D of the building in PASF, And also I have to carry out clash analysis and coordination workshop in order to ensure all the analysis can be resolved. And when the construction is happened on site, it must be a clash free. And also I have to collect, compose the correct and appropriate data and information for the construction. As what Dr. Yasir said just now, we have to make sure the size, the height of a certain thing in the construction, type of material, the exact location of the material, where is the opening, where is drop must be correct. And it is good for FM. And number 4, I have to derive the as-built model. It must be correct. The model and the site must be tally. It's good for the operation after we complete the construction. And also we incorporate all the data information with the 3D for FM information. I believe with my team, if I able to achieve all these BIM objectives, we will able to deliver BIM implementation in PASF successfully. Okay, this is the roadmap of our BIM journey in PASF. If you can see the 01, which is in 2013, as I mentioned just now, I acquire all the BIM knowledge through attending trainings and workshops. And in 2014, we have to start to tender the project. Once I understood one, I have the BIM objective, which I have deliberate just now, is help me to craft the specification and requirement of BIM implementation, BIM requirement in the tender for the contractor to carry out their work. And in 2015, we issued the LOA to the contractor, the successful contractor, which is Saudi Construction yang Berhad. And then after the contractor is already on board, when the reality where we want to do the BIM implementation, me and my team, we are questioning ourselves, how do we manage and implement BIM? Because at that point of time, our knowledge about BIM is really at infancy stage. So after further deliberation, we conclude that we need to appoint a BIM checker consultant. The reason being is that for them to guide, to advise, and to educate us, and to ensure whatever that we bought inside the contract, we should be able to get it. And in 2016 itself, we able to prove our BIM execution plan, BEP, BIM execution plan, and we start our BIM implementation. In 2016 also, we start our design, review, BIM implementation, follow all the processes and workflow. And on the same time, we have A360 BIM is the collaboration platform, cloud-based, whereby everybody can see the clashes, the model through this platform and can communicate everywhere and anywhere. And 2016 up to 2018, we conduct all the required workshop. Can you imagine? We have 10 blocks and we have about 2,000 plus models of structure, architectural, M&E, IDs, landscape. So we have to do clash analysis. Actually, if in total we have to do more than 350 workshops for clash analysis. Of course, some clashes cannot be resolved in one time, so we have to read again. And from 2016 to 2019, once the clashes is free, then the model we convert into 2D construction drawing, and we forward the drawing to the site for the subcon to carry out your work. At that point of time, within 2016, we have to admit in Malaysia, most of our subcon are not familiar with BIM. So that is where I need to educate them what BIM is all about. But for make it happen, they don't have the tools of them. They don't have the iPad and whatsoever tools for them to have a site. Therefore, the Clash 3D model, the Clash free 3D model, I converted it to construction drawing for the subcon to carry out your work. And on the same time, we also need to do the BIM FM. Within 2016-2017, we do all the need analysis and user requirement study for FM. We collaborate with our property management team to get all the requirement from them for our BIM specialists to program the BIM FM program, so that later stage one we complete the project, they should be able to use the BIM FM software, which is we use Akibas to do the operation and maintenance. And from 2017 to 2019, we do all the data collection for LOD. We publish the model to Akibas. And of course, by April 2019, we complete the project. And I can proudly announce today that we have successfully implemented BIM from design up to FM. Alhamdulillah. Okay. On top of that, I need to share also what is my process workflow for 3D. Okay. At that point of time, we don't have any reference because there is not much project implementing BIM in their project. So this processes is created by me and our team in order to make sure the contractor follow. First of all, contractors have to develop the detailed design, because for my project, BIM only come once the contractor on board. The BIM is not implemented during the design stage before the procurement. It's only happen when the contractor on board. Therefore, we have to be concurrently. Some of the team of the contractor have to do the detailed design because this project is design build, and then they do the detailed design. And some of the team, they have to convert the 2D drawing to 3D models, which is number 2, the step number 2. And step number 3, once all the 3D model completed, they have to conduct the clash analysis together with the, of course, together with the PMT and consultant. And once all the clash analysis has been verified by the consultant, by the PMT, and we have to print to the construction drawing for the subcon to carry out your work at site. And also, I need to share with everybody, at that point of time, in 2016, we have to also to do inventing processes of clash analysis, because we need progress at site, and on the same time, we need BIM to be implemented. So we create 3 stages of clash analysis. Actually, if your project have BIM from start, from the beginning, from the design stage before procurement, you don't have to have 3 stages of clash analysis. But I have to create things will happen, and we cannot stop from site from happening, and we also make sure that clashes is carried out. So we divide into 3 stages. The first stage is to resolve all clashes horizontally, which is slab. Where is the opening for M&E, where the drops required by the architect, we have to make sure that. And the second stage, the clash analysis is to resolve all clashes vertically. The wall, we have to provide where is the opening for the windows, where is the opening for the doors, where the opening for the air conducting, and so forth. So after that, the stage 3 is to resolve all clashes above the ceiling. All the M&E piping in the ceiling have to be really studied, avoid all the clashes in order to ensure our reflective ceiling plan, RCP, is beautiful. We have to ensure where is the lighting, where is the speakers, where is the sprinkler, where is the aircon, where is the aircon, and everything that required on the ceiling. And I have put note there, these stages are invented in order to hinder site delay. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, by inventing these 3 stages, we're able to make sure, although there is a slight delay, but Alhamdulillah, we're able to complete this project on time. Okay, I also have described here why the 3 stages of clash analysis need to be carried out in my project, because BIM is only implemented after contractor on board. Tender drawing is in 2D. It is a design bid contract whereby the design need to be carried out by the contractor. conversion of 2D drawings to 3D models is also carried out by the contractor, and development of 3D models, clash analysis, and site progress need to be carried out concurrently. And in order to motivate my team and to make sure the benefit of BIM is enjoyed by everybody, I have created a BIM slogan. The slogan is hashtag 2 floor ahead than site, meaning to say that if the site is constructing level 4, our clash analysis should reach level 6, meaning to say all the drawing reach site should be clash free. Okay, we also conducted BIM field verification, whereby we need to ensure the models tally with the site. When do we do the BFB? We conduct prior to concreting. We need to ensure that the openings and the drop is available prior to wall construction. As I said before, the opening for doors, window, air conducting is there. After the installation of ceiling works, above ceiling works, to ensure that all the M&E piping inside the ceiling is properly arranged. I can invite everybody to my site to see all the M&E arrangement inside the ceiling. I can proud to say it's all in order. Thank you very much to my team. And we also conduct BFB after the ceiling is installed, to make sure the reflected ceiling plan is in order. And we also conduct BFB before and after ID work, because there's a lot of clash between ID and M&E, and of course, in order to finalizing our as-built to ensure that the as-built drawing and site is tally. Okay, after we've gone through all the 3D, this is where another assignment is to implement BIM FM. In the PFI agreement with the government, we need to deliver FM modules, which consist of space management, asset management, building operation management, and complaint management. And all the requirement like space management, we have to ensure the space inventory is available, view 2D and 3D space area, register and assign employee to space and division and or department, view employee by building, floor, room, division is very detailed. And asset management, we have to ensure asset inventory and information, define the review asset and life cycle, and all the requirement for building operation, plan preventive and corrective maintenance, and everything is there. And also on the complaint management on the help desk. It's very challenging because all of us in construction are not familiar with facility management. We are so lucky having a FN specialist, Microcorp. They teach us, and we are so lucky to have a very committed consultant and contractor who willing work together to overcome all the challenges to ensure all these FM requirement can be delivered. Okay, we also created a process workflow for 7D, where number one is required element. We collaborate with our property management team to get what is the requirement or processes that they required. We conduct need analysis, user requirement study, user acceptance test, provisional acceptance test, final acceptance test. So many things to do. Okay, and then step 2 is compilation of works, approve material submission. We have to compile key in data in cut sheet, including photos, endorsement of the cut sheet information. This work to be carried out by the contractor. However, we have to make sure and monitor all the information is there, and not integration, map the cut sheet to the models, and step 4, publish. The 3D model integrate with all the information for Akibas acceptance. Although I have to admit that we have a lot of challenges to put the 3D model in the Akibas, but in view to good teamwork, collaboration, we managed to resolve that, and we proudly to say that the model successfully published and currently can be used by our team in the property management. And step 5, of course, the handing over of the software and hardware, and the migration is happening. And after that, we do all the training for the user, which is our counterparts, the property management team. Okay, finish. So we done number 1, project visualization. We done class detection. We've done all the collection and compile all the appropriate required data information, and we able to produce the as-built drawing. And of course, we incorporate all the data information with 3D models, and the FM currently operating is using BIM FM Akibas. So my BIM is completed and I have successfully delivered, and I have to agree with Madam Analisa and Dr. Yasir that BIM can have a lot of processes because my project is big, it's complicated, and involved with a lot of stakeholders, and I believe BIM have helped me in managing and monitor the project. But before I end, I need to share here, this is the actual analysis that we have done. I have interviewed the consultant who involved in PASF, and they admit that by using BIM, they reduce in time in designing about 30 to 40% of their time. And the contractors also said by having BIM in their project, they're able to reduce their wastage by 15%. And they able to minimize their double handling work, even though I have to admit some work still needs some double handling in view to the stubbornness of the subcon. They reduce a lot by 20%. Can you imagine if you convert the 50% of wastages, the 20% of double handling work, the 40% of time spent reduced by the designer, convert into dollar and cent, is a lot of money can be saved. And finally, this is the photo during the handover to the government. It's happening recently, November 2019. I think that's all. Back to you, Paul. Thank you.
Congratulations, Juan. I think it's not too late to say my congratulations to you on the project.
Thank you very much.
Right now, it's always a enlightening experience when we hear firsthand sharing about involvement.
Thank you.
In a project like this. Yeah. But when you are going through your presentation, there's one thing that came across my mind from Madam Zadato. Right? I'm sure out of all these results, maybe there's another factor that we can look into is how much BIM aware or BIM competent person that we have developed throughout the course of the project. I'm sure there are a lot of knowledge and these people came out on the better side of in terms of competency and in terms of adaptability towards new technology in construction, and to follow through that into the operation side. Now that would be very interesting, won't you say?
Yes, I'm happy to say that all the young guys who already involved in BIM in PASF, whether their background is architectural, engineers, or even planners, they're able to get a very good job now outside. And they are headhunting by other company because of their ability to have BIM knowledge in PASF. I'm proud to see that.
Yes. Congratulations. Thank you, Puan, for sharing. All right. This will be our last speaker for tonight before we go to the Q&A and the discussion session. So, Dr. Wallace, are you still with us?
Yes. Hopefully I'm
Good
not.
to hear that. Good to hear that. I love your energy.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Wallace, over to you.
It's almost 2 a.m. One moment, just pull up my slide.
Okay, we can see your slide.
All right, can you see it?
Yeah, yes.
All right. Kiara Koto to those joining in from New Zealand, and Salamat Malam to those in Malaysia, and good day to all other participants all the way from Nigeria and across the world. My name is Wallace Imodwenibuma. I'm presenting the I in BIM. Catch me if you can. All right, just a little bit of background on myself. So I started off with a degree in architecture. Then I was quite fascinated about site supervision and what goes on actual construction sites. Then I moved on to construction management and did a doctoral study in building information modeling. Currently, I lecture BIM and also lecture on project management. So just a couple of tools that I work with from Revit Suite, Vico Office, Fuso, PlanGrid, HoloBeam, Bluebeam, Leica systems for scanning, and also Primavera as well. I currently hold a membership with PMI and also the New Zealand Institute of Building, and I do a lot of work with the BIM Education Working Group, where we are kind of pushing lots of BIM innovation for tertiary institutions. So BIM Education Working Group is under the New Zealand BIM Acceleration Committee, BAC. Then I recently incorporated my own BIM consultancy. So just looking into BIM tendering and consultancy projects. All right, so for today, I'm just going to be covering a few contents because it's quite tough to speak last. I believe all has been said, almost all has been said about BIM right from the first session. So today I will just be covering the paradigm and changing space of BIM, and also just trying to catch the eye in BIM and relating BIM to facilities management and looking at current issues from my experience interacting with FM teams in terms of information management, and also a few solutions that we came up with to current challenges in FM planning. These I coined as I solutions. Then also touch slightly on academia and also look into the I in education. All right, so I'm not going to really boil down into the definitions of BIM. I believe this has been covered a lot, and also the ideas around level of details, also around IFC, Industry Foundation classes, and interoperability problems and issues in the industry. So I'm just going to focus what I highlighted here is a reliable basis for decisions during life cycle. Yeah, so that was just move away from what has been covered earlier. So a lot has been said about construction for new construction, new projects. So I find it's quite easier to fit in data and building data for new construction projects. But when you are dealing with existing facilities, it's a bit trickier, which you see in a couple of moments. All right, so catching the eye in BIM, so basically it's not really far-fetched. So the information really links to all your BIM objects. Yeah, so these are snapshots of basic BIM objects, which are focus for facilities managers. So wear and tear to these objects forms the basis for facilities management. and the information about these objects are quite important for facilities management. All right, so when we move on to a much more advanced eye, so catching the much more advanced eye, so this could mean a lot to various team members. So merely looking at this by what I do daily. So I just see components at which I look more towards construction sequencing and planning. But to say a couple of my colleagues like Jacqueline McIntosh, she'll be looking at reuse, sustainable reuse of each component within this figure. And some other parties will also have many other meanings to various objects within the BIM model. And an earlier study which I read quite a few years ago in terms of the eye in BIM, when fire responders use information to have quick access to the building. Yeah, so when they receive a call, they can easily plot the directions using GIS mapping to the building. So within the building, they have access to the egress and egress, and also the fire ratings of the door and the easiest access point to the building. Yeah, so this eye, so to say, it means a lot to different parties. All right, so we move on to BIM and facilities management. So on the top right, that's taken out from the BIM New Zealand BIM handbook. So it points out to the fact that we have about 87% of costs which falls into operations phase. Yeah, so if you just reflect on that for a moment and consider how much focus we put into both the planning and execution phase and actual construction, and only to find out that we are merely compensating for about 13% of the process, of the entire process. So it's quite key for BIM to really drive decision making. Yeah. Then if we look at the bottom right figure, you can also see that if you compare traditional documentation process in construction, you can see that there's a dip in the graph as you go along. But if you use BIM processes, you have that steady slope of information right onto the handover to the FM teams. And on the left figure, you can see that FM really covers a really broad area, right from security services, cleaning services, maintenance, your subcontracting teams, things like cleaning. So lots of dimensions to facilities manager. And I believe we can really leverage BIM in terms of improving FM services. All right, so for what I mostly observe when going into facility and discussion with FM teams is that you need to really assess the BIM maturity of the FM team and also within the organization. So this figure is from Prof. Kivenemi and his team. So when you drill down into does the organization have a set up BIM strategy, and also how does BIM drive their contract management systems, and also in terms of life cycle planning, maintenance, work orders, how is BIM models used in terms of sending out tendering jobs to subcontractors, and are they really valuing the business value of BIM? So within that system, you could start to rate and rank each organization or each FM team in a certain way. And ideally, what we do, BIM enthusiasts, we tend to see ourselves as the ultimate in BIM. But ideally, I would like to see more of the FM teams really interacting with the BIM model and actually using it for their day-to-day services and day-to-day as a standard operation. Yeah. All right, so some of the issues with information management. So one is in terms of expertise. So what I see, what is tend to be missing is there's always that that hole, that space, that gap for an BIM expert within the teams, and also there's that sense of apprehension as well, that people are not so good in interacting or reading BIM models or BIM documents. Yeah. Then also there's an issue of software choice. So some subcontracting teams could submit various drawings in different formats. So it's quite difficult to kind of put all this together within a common data environment. Then we move on to the issue about storage. Yeah, so just imagine large chunks of scanned data coming out from LiDAR scans. These are over 770 gigabytes of data. Yeah, so organizations could really struggle in terms of data storage and where to store this data. Then another issue I see that is quite missing is upskilling as well. So there's this need to drive upskilling and making sure that FM teams go for trainings. And then there's always the usual suspects, those who are resistant to change. Yeah, so these are either from their own personal or views that BIM cannot really solve the whole problems in the industry. And also some people really just don't want to upskill. And ultimately I kept that at the bottom, which is cost. So everything we're talking about is also based on cost. So for public organizations where their budgets are quite open source information, yeah, so industry has access to all these informations. So it's quite difficult for you to plan for BIM implementation with your FM teams. So this has to be done at least probably a year or two ahead in terms of long-term planning for the organizations. All right, so I'm just going to present some few cases on issues and how we solve this with the FM teams. So this first case is for a heritage property right here in New Zealand. So the main focus was the roof, as you can see from the figure. So some issues where we had to deal with paper drawings, which in some cases were outdated because of retrofitting and maintenance works over the years. Also, there was issue about the end of life of the warranty of the roof. And then we also had to really go in and investigate possible leaks within the building because certain retrofits has been done to the chimneys in the roof. So this we suspected at first could be the possible source of leaks. Then we also had to deal with the issue about analyzing sustainability potentials of the building in terms of collecting rainwater, and also at what directions can we optimize in terms of putting PV panels on the roof and collecting solar energy. All right, so some real-time solutions where BIM came into play. We use LiDAR scanners, and also we use drone systems. So we flew the drone over the roof using a thermal camera. So that's the second image on the left. Then we also use moisture meter readers. So that's the first image on the bottom left. So then from there we started to understand the nature of the degradation of the roof. Also from the interior perspective as well, when we had our LiDAR scanner, we were able to really go in and investigate what was happening to all the timber members. All right, so the last part we did was analyze the roof directions and also the effective slope to put in the PV panels, and also in terms of collecting rainwater. So we're able to get an optimal PV value around December to January, which of course is around summer in New Zealand. And yeah, so with this, the FM team was really able to start understanding and buying into that being used and BIM adoption within their facilities. Okay, so the second case, this is more towards a hospital healthcare project. So what we had to deal with on site with the FM team was they had lots of manual systems, manual data entry. So we wanted to see how we could automate this process. Then also there were access to relevant data was difficult, real-time data capture was difficult, and they had this disconnected softwares which were not interrelated. And then there was also lots of fragmentations within each department. So we went in and we started building up the BIM models for about 9 blocks, 9 buildings. Yeah, so this formed the basis for future decision making, which I'll show you in a moment. So the figure on the right just shows you the split within all the departments and all the systems they were involved with. All right, so for the solution, we started brainstorming around suitable software. So we don't want to really advertise any software, but recommending possible softwares which we could integrate, where all departments could easily have access to these systems. Yeah. So we went on to do some of the BIM modeling, and we later went on to some other issues which they were facing. So this had to do with patient journey. Yeah. So imagine you went into a hospital and you keep getting lost or asking for directions. So it's quite difficult to meet appointments. So we went in, we analyzed both the signage, so signage was an issue, and also locations of just the numbering systems. And so we started brainstorming on how we could fix and get clients, patients to their appointments on time. So we came up with, so this I did some work with my colleagues up in IT. So we did a project which we analyzed indoor navigation systems. So when you are going in for your appointments, so it's quite easy for you to, once you step into the borderline boundary of the property, then an app kicks in and it's voice activated. So visually impaired is visually impaired friendly. So you can easily get to your appointments. Okay, so another section of the healthcare facility had to do with maximizing the spatial layout. And from the pictures, you can see the corridors. Since this was converted from wards to offices, so there were lots of issues with space, people cramping up, and also there was some resistance to retrofitting as well, because they really needed to understand what you were proposing. So we were pushing for more co-design, so to say, where occupants had a real say in how they wanted their space to be. So some other issues we identified had to do with lighting, so inappropriate lighting coming in, and also future planning strategies of the spaces. All right, so some of this, the solution we came up with, I'll just play this video and just continue putting you through. So we had to go into virtual reality, building off the BIM model, so that both the occupants and the FM teams can really have that immersive experience. Yeah, so we gave them the VR headset, and they were able to get into the space and experience firsthand what we were proposing for them. So we got rid of all the interior partition walls and made it into a much more open space design. Then we also had to put in more storage spaces in terms of lockers, and also much more activity-based working environment. So this is our new proposed solutions. So it had private meeting rooms, much more flexible seating arrangements, and much more modern lighting, and we knocked down some of the windows towards the right there. So that's the floor plate. So we use color coding to separate each work zones. And later on, you would see the central social space where you have the kitchen. So in the past, it was towards the edge of the building, but now we placed it somewhere central. So this forms, it's said to say, like a gathering social space where workers can easily interact. So those are some of the diverse sitting workspaces. So we also put in some flexible electric, much more modern electric tables. Yeah, so they are adjustable, so preventing workplace accidents. So you could actually have flexibility around your space. So those are the quiet meeting areas and conference rooms. Then you have your storage somewhere down the end of the floor plate, quite separated from other workspaces. Because we noticed lots of the workers really came in with lots of baggage and just kept them within their work area. So we wanted to really free those spaces around their workstations. All right. So I'll just move on to the next. All right. So the last part, which I would like to touch, is just on just the apprehension from our graduates going into the industry and employer expectations around BIM, and also knowledge around the I in BIM. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that academia is really, we're really keen and really active in terms of training. And in this example, you can see that we use live BIM models, and also try to make students aware of where the information lies within the building. So here you can see the basic wall and just drilling into the analytical properties of that wall. Yeah, so this really is the eye in the BIM model. All right, so just a quick summary. So I've covered the FM teams. They need to really see the value in the BIM information, and also the I needs to drive decision making, and academia is heavily engaged in I training. So thank you very much. So I'll take the questions after the session.
Thank you, Dr. Wallace. That is eye-opening. It's eye-opening, and my favorite part is about some works on old buildings. Now, I think we need to see more of that, and how does that plays with current technologies and the availability of us to understand better in the effort to preserve older and maybe valuable buildings. Okay, Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for all of the panelists. So now I'm sure a lot of people is waiting for their questions to be answered. And these questions are actually, now we have names to it. So each question has a panel name attached to it. And my co-host, Dr. Mohammed Sola, is in control with the slide. So I hand it over to him for the questions.
Okay, for me, the different.
Yes.
Okay, so very interesting question. The different perspective actually is a paradigm of shift that we are talking about here, but very often are our potential client ready for this change? That's a real problem because we are in a phase where our clients are very, very expert on BIM information, new technology, or they don't know nothing about that. Between these two types of clients, we have a lot of people try to understand what's up around them. So first thing, maybe I repeat the same thing I saw before, but first take the time to explain to your client what is the transformation around our world and around their work. Because some clients have inside their own company a strategy concerning the BIM, concerning digital, concerning IoT, artificial intelligence, whatever. But some clients don't have nothing about that. So first step, you must understand if this strategy exists and what is the key points of this strategy about BIM or about digital applications. If the strategy doesn't exist, you have to take your time to be patient and make training and explain how this technology works. Second things, very important for me, when you understand the key point, it's to create a space around this key point to help the client to connect the new application in BIM with the standard application he has and understand where the new technology can create an optimization, automatization to optimize the time and so to have a gain, to have some value and profit on this point. It's a long exercise to make with our client. It's not simple, not all the client want to do that, but if you are able to show where the technology, digital solution can help him and the gap this technology creates to create value, that will be the solution for the client. Our client don't mind about how we do that. They mind about how they can have some gain and change the paradigm and change the way to work. If we can find this way, so they will be able to understand and help us to push this type of new process inside the construction site, inside the design phases or facility management. And last thing, the third one, we are the people who are there to explain. So remind that our clients, our colleagues are not born to make 3D, new technology. That's something new. We are in this movement. So remind that we have to be clear, simple, explain, and it's not because we are expert, all the people are expert too. So take the time to explain everything. That's the best solution for me to help our clients.
Yes, yes. Well said, Madam Annalisa. It's always interesting to look at the perspective of the clients, and at the end of the day, this is probably one of the biggest challenges that we face in fulfilling their needs or to bring them up to level, to have the same understanding, right? Okay, let's go to the next question. What do we have? Dr. Yasir, is he back with us? Dr. Yasir, are you there?
Yes,
I'm
good,
there. Good. My team informed me
Yeah,
that
I have a technical issue with my laptop, and I'm actually using my phone now.
I see. Okay, so let me read the question. In your opinion, do you think BIM application can help Saudi Arabia to manage and control the Hajj season in Mecca? And if they use it, can you tell us if they have implementing space management and any digital tools for it?
In terms of Hajj, and I'm actually working in construction area now, but with the facility management, yes, in my opinion, yes, BIM applications can help actually. The help in space management, and even the help with the crowd management. Because in the end, the data, it's already sorted in one place, located, and this is when it become the famous saying about building information modeling: the right information on the right time for the right decision. Okay, yes, I believe BIM can help with that one. About the space management, I have a case where actually I did a publication for that one. It's a space management. I use the BIM to actually help one of the universities in Saudi Arabia to manage the spaces. And actually, at the end of the paper, I told them that we could actually save more than 30% of the maintenance cost. Okay, if we actually did what actually I recommended on that paper. It's already published, that one.
Interesting. And I'm looking forward for you to publish your findings in the surveys that you did.
Yeah, with the space management, I already published that one, and I will send it to you. But the one I told you earlier in the presentation, that one I'm comparing the situation in 2020, the knowledge of BIM and the awarenesses and the implementation in 2020, comparing with the 2014.
Yes, that one. All right. Next question is for Madam Zaidatul. Technology in BIM continuously evolve. How can we manage the contract to ensure that the content in the contract is not outdated and also follows the BIM technology evolution? This is interesting. Madam Zaidatul?
Okay, I believe if we really wanted to implement BIM, and we are really serious in ensuring that we are always at par with the technology, we have to follow the involvement of the technology. And of course, what I can share here is that when I put the requirement of BIM in PAS-F back in 2014, our requirement is only for 3D and 7D. And currently, in project that managed by KLCC project, recently there is, I think, about 3 projects. We already requested the project to implement not only 3D and 7D, but we have already requested them to also implement 3D and 4D. And of course, any technology in the BIM that as a project management services that I, together with my organization, we always follow through the involvement and ensure that we are at par, and all the requirement we have to get information for all the practitioner to get the opinion, and of course to be incorporated inside the contract. But I need to share here with that in our company, KLC's project, we already have SOP for BIM implementation. And our SOP is very dynamic. And we will every now and then enhance and upgrade our SOP based on the current technology. And we have to ensure that our team are aware of the technology and always be alert, because for everyday information, there is a BIM team, BIM special team has been selected in our company. This team is responsible to ensure that all the contract requirement will be vet through by them and ensure at par with the current technology. So I think the organization who wish to implement BIM in their project, they have to have a team to always follow the involvement and to ensure they are not fall back behind. Thank you.
Good, good, interesting. So adding up to what Dr. Wallace was sharing earlier about the information for making decisions, and now we have another pushing factor that contributes from the compliance and the legal side of the contract. Okay, next question. Dr. Wallace, it's your turn. What are the significant contribution of building information modeling to the infrastructure development in New Zealand? And may you tell us the current situation in Africa? Okay.
It's a very interesting question. All right, so for BIM, I would say the BIM Acceleration Committee really did a lot. So for you to really push a BIM agenda, you need to really have people working in groups. I remember when I first started my study back in Malaysia, I think that was about 10 years ago. Back then it was just Ahmad Tamizi, one of the speakers in the first session. Yeah. So he pioneered the BIM studies in Malaysia. He looked at in terms of people, technology, and the process. So he looked at it from a qualitative point of view, while I extended his work, doing a much more quantitative study on consultants in Malaysia. So I see that back then also the Royal Institute of Surveyors Malaysia were also pushing for BIM use. So my mentor then, Prof. Kaironita Ali, she was really active in that space as well. So I see the impact of working in groups. In terms of infrastructure development, so when you have these groups, you now have industry focus groups, which really now tune into the use of BIM. So that's how it further drives BIM use in the industry. So just talking around, there was a question earlier about contracts. So when you start making special purpose contracts or IPD contracts, so all this comes out from group discussions and working in BIM groups. So that's how it drives infrastructure development. For Africa, today I just read from one of my doctoral students. So they published the BIM, it's a BIM report, African BIM report. I've not had a chance to go through in detail, but I think I imagine it would be quite interesting to see some of the advances of BIM in Africa. So I could speak on Nigeria. There's lots of BIM publications coming out of Nigeria, but the kinds of publications are mostly geared towards adoption, implementation, and getting a feel of how consulting firms and also organizations are applying BIM. I think that's the current situation at the moment.
it's good to know that we are still very much in contact with the development back in Africa. Okay, next. We move to another question. And this is for both Madam Zaidatul and Madam Annalisa, I suppose. The global construction market regarding the use of data seems to be moving in the same direction as all countries. How should we deal with it in order to make a profit from it? Wow, okay. So I open this to Madam Zaidatul first.
Okay, I think I would like to talk the perspective of construction itself. Based on the real data, based on my project, it's very obvious that based my own experience, I can share that my construction experience is more than 30 years. When I taking care past with BIM implementation, there's a lot of things that can be translated into profit. For example, like when I share just now about the very obvious profit that the contractor can get is actually by reducing the wastages. So indirectly, it can improve their profit as well as the double handling work. If anybody very experienced in construction, double handling work is a killing thing to the contractor, because if you have to do it more than one time and to rework, it's actually very costly. So I think that is how that we can make a profit out of it. So if we able to convert into dollar and cent. As for ourselves as a project management company, by having BIM, I believe that I can well manage the project, because I have all the information and I would be able to produce the fact sheet of the project in a short time, and also very accurate. So, and I will make our client happy, and on the same time I will able to complete the project on time or ahead of time. I have to explain here that for that project, the contract with government, I able to complete it ahead of 7 months. So it has helped me to do a lot of things before the migration of the government. So all the during the defect latitude period, I can do all the defect. If there is, of course, I cannot say I have no defect at all. So a lot of time can be saved and can be translated into profit. For example, in my team, I have about 40 of us. When I can complete the project on time, I was able to transfer all this team from dealing, from handling the project to another project. And if we convert their salary into the time spent of the complete on time, is actually is too much, because
Yes.
by complete on time and ahead of time from the government time, I can transfer them to another project. There's a lot of cost can be saved. So if you ask me how much, actually I have to frankly say, now we are still under analysis. We just unable to produce the correct figure, but we can share in terms of percentage which I mentioned just now. So inshallah, if I were called to do any presentation next year, I will be able to give the exact figure. Okay, back to you, Paul.
Thank you, Madam. Now, Madam Annalisa, what about you?
So the movement of the construction market in Europe, South America was quite similar. First step made by the constructor, and after that all the other decide to adapt their management to BIM process or digital process. That was the step I can saw in different countries around the world in the last 10 years. And for all of this country, two things was for me important to remind to have some profit. First thing, think simple. Second one, think connected. Think simple, what's mean? How my colleague explained, when we use BIM, we have an advantage. Just think about that. Before 3D, before BIM, before digitalization, if we had to find a problem on a project, we have to look minimum to a plane and a section. That means make twice the same action. Find a problem here, find a problem in the second document. Now with the BIM, when you have to find a problem, you find a problem one times in the 3D model. That's an optimization, so you can have a profit. That's what's been think simple. And I think there are a lot of uses like this one where you can have profit. The second one is think connected. I give you an example. For in our group, we make a lot of stadium or big projects. So, for example, on a stadium, we have to calculate what's it called visibility curve. That means the value between you and the person in front of you, the value of the view you can have on the stadium. So bigger is the view, bigger is the value of your places. So you pay more and more to stay in this place and on the other one. For example, with the BIM, we can connect this curve with the value of your seat, with the view of your seat, with the position, the entry, the security, with the way to build your seats, and all of these things. That means just starting from one information, you can connect to all the other information and create more and more values, and maybe more and more work and different work for your clients. So that's the two way I think can help us to make profits using data in construction.
Thank you, Madam Annalisa. Okay, there's another question here. This is for Mr. Wallace. What is the benefit of the use of drone for facility management, and how it helps the contractor to measure the area for shop drawing?
All right, so for drones, so drones have multi-purpose use. So it depends on what you are actually trying to get out of implementing drone flight. So for shop drawings, you might want to use a LiDAR scanner. So if you have the high-end drones, so it has the capability to carry out a LiDAR scanner, also within tight spaces as well. So depends on how you plot your flight path. So you could actually capture a LiDAR scan. You could then convert that into point clouds, which you can now model into any of the proprietary modeling softwares, and then you can easily get your shop drawings. Yeah, I think that was quite a good, useful tool. So it's quite difficult to for accuracy. So there's lots of debate around accuracy of LiDAR scans and data gotten from those types of scans. So that's another slippery slope. But I believe you can really use that for the shop drawings.
Right. It sounds like that process is very fast.
Cossacks?
The process for producing shop drawing from drone.
From drones, yeah. So last time I was discussing with Leica Systems, so they are looking for a way to to quickly convert point cloud scans into virtual reality. So that's another research in progress here. So.
Interesting. All right. So I hope yeah, we have another one. Okay, this one now is for Puan Zadato. How long it took to develop FM requirement in early stage? You would like to tell us the story. Okay.
Okay. As for me, at that point of time, we have no project reference. This is the first project implemented in Malaysia. So we have a very good guidance from our BIM FM specialist from Microcorp. They teach us what is the important element need to be gathered, what is the important processes need to be listed, and what is the requirement of the contract need to be outlined so that the program can include all the requirement. As for PASF, we took about 12 months, a year, for us to do the need analysis and user requirement study. The reason being is that this is our first time, and when we conduct our workshop, I have to tell the truth, for the first 3 months, there is a lot of try and error, and there's a lot of item that we try to list down the item, and after the 3 months we noticed that there's a lot more information that required. So, and on the same time, the 12 months is actually also to suit to the time that our counterparts schedule, because they also on the same time having another job to be delivered, and on the same time they also need to collaborate with us to give all the information required. For that period, I still remember there's a lot of challenges, a lot of things that is new thing to us, and it takes about 12 months. And bear in mind, as commonly what is happening in construction area, we need 3 months as a learning stage. Then after 3 months, we can run. So in total, for FM requirement, before we can do the programming, it takes for us about a year, from 2016 to 2017. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so those are the questions that we had time to address, and we are overshooting our schedule actually. So I really appreciate your time, your input, and your sharing from all the panels. And Dr. Yasser had to leave early because he's attending another meeting. Before we end our session for tonight, I would like to express our appreciation and thank you to all the participants that has been spending the more than 2 hours with us today. And on Microcorp behalf also, we wish to express our appreciation and thanks to Madam Annabella. Okay, Madam Annalisa, sorry, then Dr. Yasser, Madam Zaidato, and lastly, Dr. Wallace for joining us tonight. We will be, yes, we will be announcing a new series that is facility management oriented, and we'll be addressing the predictive, going towards the predictive maintenance. So this is still in the working for us, and this will be announced to our available channels, our social media and whatnot. And tonight's recording also will be available by request. And let me check with my team, do we have a questionnaire. Now we will escalate the questionnaire via emails, right, to all the registered participants. Thank you very much, everyone. So we're calling it a night in Kuala Lumpur. A very good night to everybody, and thank you very much for spending these 2 hours with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, thanks, Sola, for the invitation.
No problem. You're welcome.